Out of the transmitter. Out of the transmitter. Out of the transmitter. Through the air. Into your radio. Nothing but net.
What's ye Japoma Radio, Adeshima? News live on Japoma Radio GH. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter Japoma Radio GH, Instagram Japoma.radio.gh, YouTube King of Kings Media. Download the app on the Google Play Store on your phone. Coming up, I won't be surprised if Prof. Atukuba is invited. Dr. Aini Kojobon Susik Asante Hene's blessings. Ghana cannot do without churches. Bishop Ajin Asari. That's coming up on your way. I am Josephine Nate. Details shortly. Welcome back. The news in details. Bolgatanga East Member of Parliament Dr. Dominic Ayeni has stated that he would not be surprised if Prof. Raymond Atukuba is invited over recent comments relating to conditions that could trigger a coup. Dr. Ayeni himself, a lawyer, holds that even though in his opinion there exists no legal basis for such an invitation, recent arrest of activists and journalists show a knee-jerk reaction on the part of national security. Asked by a journalist if an invitation could go to Prof. Atukuba, Ayeni responded, "I would not be very surprised because there is a certain tendency to engage in knee-jerk reaction when it comes to matters of this nature." One of the major voices calling for Atukuba's arrest is Adanse Asokwa MP Katie Hammond, who, whilst admitting that Atukuba made a conditional statement, pointed out that he couldn't be excused because of his stature in society and knowledge of the law. Dr. Ayeni, however, heard that his colleague MP had done himself a deceiving by the comment which he said suggested that Hammond had also taken leaves of his brains. I think that the Hammond, K.T. Hammond, did not do himself a lot of good. And as I saying this, he is my very good friend, but he didn't do himself a lot of good. I think he actually took leaves of his brain when he made that comment about then Atukuba, he submitted. Member of Parliament for Akuapem North, Nana Amadukua Asiama Ej, has denied reports that she was flown into the country late last year from the United States to come and vote on the Electronic Transaction Bill, e-levy bill. The issue of private jet travel has become topical in recent times following a revelation that government hired a jet to fly in Domikwa-Benya MP Sarah Adjoa-Safo to enable her vote on the e-levy. Nana Amadukwa in an interview confirmed that she had indeed given birth days prior but was healthy enough to make the trip back to participate in the vote she described as the national assignment. The MP, who also doubled as Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, further disclosed that she flew to the U.S. aboard a Delta Airlines flight and returned on the same flight days prior to the vote. I left my week-old child to support the national assignment in every situation that I am in. Once I'm alive, I'm hale and I'm hearted. I think my presence is needed to take such a major decision for the government. No matter where I am, I should be able to make myself available. Now on to some local news. Former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bonsu, has asked for the blessings of the Ashanti-Hene in his quest to emerge the first Ashanti flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. Mr. Bonsu said North Ashanti has assumed the highest leadership of the NDC before and prayed for Otumfuo's support. He told Otumfuo of his desire to increase the fortunes of the opposition party to bring the presidency home to Kumasi after the 2024 election. Kojo Bonsu was at the Menchia Palace for the Akweside Festival and officially announced his intention to run for the NDC flag bearership slot this year. Let's listen to the voice.
The Menchia Palace marked Akweside on Sunday with a deba of chiefs. A number of institutions and individuals paid homage to the king, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. Supported by a number of market queens and party supporters, former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bonsu, came before the Asante-Hene to announce his intention to run for the flag bearer slot of the NDC when nominations are opened. I'm here today to tell Otumfuo that when the time is due, I will also go and contest for the flag bearership slot of the NDC. He said, no Ashanti.
The presiding bishop of Perez Chapel International, Charles Ajin Asari, says the national cannot do without the churches. Speaking in an interview on Sunday, he stated that the church has significantly affected the nation throughout the years. According to him, one of the church's impact on the country is the educational benefit it provides the citizens. The church has more schools in Ghana than probably the government. In fact, from some of the statistics I have, there are over 3,000 basic schools owned by churches, 53 senior high schools, 31 college of education, and 8 church-established universities, with Perez University College is one, he noted. Bishop Charles Ajin Asari also noted that 21 Christian denominations under the church has set up 183 health facilities and health institutions. With the example mentioned about, Mr. Ajin Asari believes that this nation cannot do without the church. He mentioned that if all the institutions shut down, the nation would eventually suffer. We take a break. When we come back is the business news. Stay tuned. From that break, now moving on to some business news. The price of Brent crude surged more than 10% and is closing on an all-time high after the risk of a US and European ban on Russian crude threatened a stagflation stock for world market. The global benchmark of Brent crude hit $139.13 a barrel at the start of trading on Monday, 7th March 2022, a leap of more than $20 on Friday, 4th March 2022, close of 118.03. The all-time of $147.50 was reached in July 2028. However, some analysts told the U.S. Guardian that the $147.50 could be suppressed because of the geopolitical impact of the Ukraine crisis. Russia will open new, now to some international news. Russia will open new humanitarian corridors across multiple Ukrainian cities on Monday to allow citizens to evacuate, state media is reporting. The ceasefire will take place from 10 a.m. Moscow time, 7 o'clock GMT, according to Russian Defense Ministry, with evacuation routes set up in the capital, Kiev, as well as Kharkiv, Mariupol, and Sumy. All of these cities are currently under a significant Russian assault operation. Ukrainian officials have yet to confirm this over the weekend, to effect of open en route to allow civilians to evacuate from Mariupol in the country's southeast collapse. Ukraine officials said this was because Russia continued to shell the city during the agreed ceasefire hour. We take a break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now moving on to some entertainment news. Socialite Abena Koko has for the first time opened up on one of her darkest moments when she committed an abortion. In an exclusive interview on Friday, the 32-year-old mentioned that she had had sexual exploits with over 100 men. According to Abena Koko, her escapes ended with just one pregnancy. She said at the time the man she was involved with was just a friend with benefits. A deal with that did not involve an actual relationship or pregnancy, just casual sex. It was for this reason that the unnamed man refused to father his child with Miss Koko. If a man doesn't love me or respect me, I will never have any child with you. So I had an abortion that time, she said. And that will be all for the afternoon news. But before we go, let's take a look at our top stories. I won't be surprised if Prophet Atukuba is invited. Dr. Ayeni Kojobonsu seeks Asantehini's blessings, and Ghanaian cannot do without churches. Bishop Ajin Asari. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Japoma Radio GH, Instagram, japoma.radiogh, YouTube, King of Kings Media. Download the app on the Google Play Store. I am Josephine Nate. Have a good afternoon and stay tuned.